Welcome to U.S. Bike Racing News. I'm Britton Brown, and on this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about Danny Summerhills' unfortunate exit from UHC, the possibility of rough seas ahead if USAC doesn't get their act together for cycling, and what might be the winner for us in the long run. And lastly, I'm going to talk about my Bluechip portfolio riders. I'm going to make some moves heading into this week's Tulsa Tough, one of the season's biggest, baddest races of the year. This is U.S. Bike Racing News. Well, let's get the crappy news out of the way, if that's okay with you. I want to talk about Danny Summerhill and his unfortunate resignation with UHC. The story I've got is he was out on a training ride, and like so many other riders today, he carries a firearm with him to protect himself from aggressive drivers out there. Unfortunately, at the end of his ride, I guess he needed to blow off some steam, made the decision to fire his weapon into a hillside. One passerby obviously identified him, called the police. Police tracked him down. He admitted to it. Unfortunately, though, UHC didn't take kindly to it, forced a resignation from Danny Summerhill. Personally, I think that it's over the top, but hey, I get it. It's a corporate responsibility to protect their brand, and so be it. But here's the deal. Their loss is probably going to be another team's gain. I'm hoping that cycling as a community accepts his apology and brings him back into the fold, because Danny's a good dude. He's an awesome rider, and I guarantee you, if you asked him if he was going to do that all over again, would he do it? The answer is going to be no. So that's about all I have to say about it. In case you weren't aware of what was going on, that's the deal. 2017 has seen multiple races get canceled. First, Philly once again didn't make the schedule. Then Tour Battenkill gets axed, and now the Reading 120 just canceled. I don't know about you, but I'm getting nervous for our sport and the way we're growing. I don't know if it's the promoters' mismanagement of funds. Maybe it's USAC's stranglehold on the sport and its inability to let the sport grow. Or, I don't know, perhaps maybe the sport will never take off. But there is one savior that's on the horizon. I think you're going to enjoy this next segment, because it might just be the answer that we're all looking for. Now, I don't know if you caught the recent racing series the World Tour teams are starting to compete in, but there is a new series that has recently started called the Hammer Series. Now, the Hammer Series is unique in a way that it takes out the individual rider and the traditional team tactics, and instead makes it all about the team's performance in each race as they compete for points. Now, what this has done is it's taken out the individual racer and the longer drawn out tactics that the World Tour teams use in order to put their star in a position to win. And instead, it's opened up the door for a way more aggressive style of racing. With constant attacks and every team member playing an integral part in the race, they've obviously tapped into some amazing racing. Now, what's even cooler is the courses that they choose for each race, whether it's a sprint course or maybe it's what they call a chase, which is probably the coolest team time trial I've ever seen, or it's a hill climbing race. It's all centered around the fans' enjoyment. I personally think that they have found a win-win scenario, and perhaps it just might be the future of racing here in the United States. Either way, you gotta see it for yourself. I'm making some trades for this weekend's Tulsa Tough. With that in mind, I'm going to load up on sprinters. This week, I'm going to be buying Brad Huff, mainly because he's huffy. But let's not forget, he is a former winner multiple times at the Tulsa Tough, and he's due for a win this year. Eric the Machine Young will be there as well with Raleigh. You don't beat the machine, you only do celebratory shots with him. These two guys with Raleigh, hands down, gives them the best opportunity to get the job done. You also have Justin Williams with Silence. He's been red hot with wins at Oklahoma City Pro-Am. His brother Corey Williams with Elevate is going to be there. I think he's a guy that can win on Saturday. One other mention, Corey teammate Alfredo Rodriguez with Elevate, he's going to be there. I think he's that dark horse that could pull a win and surprise everybody Friday night under the lights. One guy you got to mention is Daniel Holloway. But in true Hollywood fashion, he's probably going to play his hands in the area of entertaining the fans, grabbing a couple of preems. But as far as the other teams being well represented, I just don't think he's going to win this weekend. Noticeably absent, Eric Marcotte. He is a former winner of Crybaby Hill on Sunday. He's not registered to be there this year. It's going to be a shame. He'd definitely be a hands-down pick for me on Sunday. So with that said, I like a guy on Sunday who can sprint and go deep. Therefore, I'm going with Eric Young for the win. Who are my long-range guys who could disrupt their sprinter's glory? They're guys like Michael Hernandez with Eavola, Pro Cycling Evan Beebe with Arapahoe. Evan is always aggressive at Tulsa. He likes the race, and he's a guy that has no problem going all in on a break. Also, Connor Brown with Elevate will be there. He's coming back from a respiratory illness that has sidelined him since March, which was Joe Martin. But with Elevate, with two sprinters, with Williams and Rodriguez in the hunt, Brown is probably going to focus on getting his race legs and working for his closers. However, I will say, if those three get off the front with a guy like Holloway, could be curtains for the bunch. With that said, I'm selling Robin Carpenter, Eric Marcotte, and Ryan Roth, none of which will be there at the race. And I'm picking up Brad Huff, as I said, Justin Williams, and just in case Huff and the Machine decide to go drinking instead of racing, I'm going to pick up Holloway as added insurance. Oh, I already own the Machine, Young, so I'll probably just be doubling up on him this week. There you have it, folks, a slight adjustment to my portfolio going into this year's Tulsa Tough. Okay, we started out this episode this week with some seriousness. Now let's end it up with some laughter with this week's U.S. Bike Racing News' Epic Bike Fails. Well, that concludes this week's episode of U.S. Bike Racing News. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and share with your friends. Let's go out and spread the word, and let's grow this sport together. I'm Britton Brown. Until next time.